YouTube, welcome back to another mock draft simulations.
Oh, boys! I'm back!
Today, we are going to be doing 7 rounds for the Cleveland Browns. I know they don't have a first, but they got plenty of other picks. As always, don't forget, if you like this video, you better like the video, please. Also, hit the notification icon. We would love a sub too. This channel's growing. We're pumping out content. We're trying to make great things for you. So join us for this ride and let's get to it. Cleveland Browns are a team that don't have a ton of holes. Now, they do have some guys that are on the defensive side of the ball that are going to be free agents that at the time of this recording, we haven't hit free agency. We don't know if they're bringing guys back, but we do know they're in a tough cap situation. Obviously, they have some money to play with. They got about 8.8 million, but remember, you got to sign your rookies. They have about 14 million in dead cap. So there's some things that are happening here. I mean, they're at the bottom half of the league when it comes to their cap situation. But we know that teams can do what they got to do to make the cap work. So this team right now, I'm going to focus on the draft, refilling these holes, refilling potential starting positions on the defensive side of the ball. On the offensive side, they need some depth. You know, they've got some aging offensive linemen, but this team is strong. They're a playoff team. They made the playoffs with Flacco under center, you know, so a healthy Deshaun Watson and hopefully some improved help on the defensive side of things. I think that things could go well for this team. Now, they don't pick until 54, but at 54, they've got some great options here, especially on the defensive side of the ball. I mean, right here, I'm jumping on T'Vondre Sweat if he's sitting there. This is the guy that I think could be a huge asset to this defense. Big fella, strong. He can do exactly what they're going to need, which is take up space and get back there and wreak havoc on the running back as well as the quarterback. I like what they're doing here. I love that addition, and this guy could be a plug-and-play starter for them for day one. At pick 85, we get lucky. The NFL draft gods have dropped a great linebacker right there for us. We need a new starting Mike linebacker, potentially. We've got one here in Junior Colson from Michigan. Dude's got great instincts. He's good in coverage. He can attack. He's got speed to cover sideline to sideline. I mean, I'm almost running the card up to the counter. If this is really here at 85, you've got to take him. I mean, he immediately can be another guy that could plug and play right there in the middle of this Jim Schwartz defense and be a huge asset. You would hope that maybe you get lucky here at 135 and maybe you can still find a guy that could develop into a starter this year in year one, but probably not going to be the case. But there's a nice DB sitting here in Josh Newton from TCU that I'm jumping all over. You know, he's got good size, 5'11". He's fairly alignment versatile, so he should be able to fit in Jim Schwartz's scheme pretty well. Has solid tackling ability. Maybe doesn't have some of the top area speed that you'd like to hope, but I definitely love where he could fit into this defense going forward. With the potential need for multiple linebackers, we're just going to keep staying on the defensive side of the ball. The way the board has fallen out, but I see Curtis Jacobs from Penn State that's still available at pick 155. This guy's got good burst. He could be a guy that you could see attack off the edge. You know, Junior Colson winds up being your Mike linebacker. You could have Jacobs on the outside. Doesn't necessarily have to start from day one, but could be developed into that role. Pick 205, we don't necessarily need running back, but way the board is falling out, we have some running backs that are sitting. If we're looking around, we see, you know, Dylan Love from New Hampshire is a guy that the folks are liking and hyping up, but I don't necessarily think he fits the way Cleveland runs the ball and the way Cleveland uses these running backs, as well as Cody Schrader from Missouri. Now, Schrader is a guy that, you know, you can use out of the backfield as a receiver, but he has that lower center of gravity in the way that he plays that I think he could be a nice guy to maybe try to be a between the tackles type runner, a depth piece that could step in. Obviously, Chubb's still working his way back from injury, so I think this would be a smart move from them to add some depth, add some extra bodies to help out throughout the offseason, and a guy that could develop as time goes on. A few picks later at 208, I think we get another little gift dropped in our basket here. Xavier Thomas from Clemson is an edge that almost feels too perfect for a wide 9 attacking type defense like Jim Schwartz runs. You know, guy 6'2", right around the 250 mark, you know, has a great first burst, is a guy that can kind of attack off the edge, and that's something this team is going to need. They're going to be potentially replacing some guys that are getting up there in age along that defensive line. So having a guy like Thomas that you could use in various roles to attack from the edges with the type of burst he has could be really helpful for this team. Their final pick in this mock draft, we're going quarterback. Jordan Travis is sitting there, and I thought that he played really well last season. He's a guy that is really good at improvising, which is something that this offense needs to be able to do. Needs to be able to do some moving of the pocket and getting out. And he's got the speed and mobility to keep teams honest. You know, they will be afraid that he's going to run the ball. And, you know, I don't want to say he's a Watson-like type player, but he's got great arm strength. His throwing motion is good. I mean, there are some mechanics things that I think that the team will need to work on and develop as time goes on. But this is a guy that I think could step in a pinch. Obviously they were looking for some quarterback help last year. Struggled after Deshaun Watson went down, and obviously they had DRR. They grabbed Flacco as a free agent, but grab another guy. It never hurts to have too many arms, especially when they're struggling with injuries and some of those things. Why not? Make sure you let me know in the comments below what you think of this draft class. Cleveland Browns fans, let me hear from you. Dog Pound, did I do you right, or you got beef in the streets? Let me know, and we'll talk to you guys again later.